All right, everybody. So we're live back here downtown, and let me set the scene for you. We're about 7 minutes here from the Seattle Police and the National Guard clearing this area here. The protesters, as we showed you before, came back downtown. They all congregated back at Westlake, and now the officers are asking them to clear the area. Now, a big issue that they're facing right here is there's no public transport. Most people who come to protest are using public transport or Ubers. There's no buses that are running right now. The train station, there's no buses running on 3rd and 4th. So what I can tell you right here is this might end up being just a long night of cat and mouse, because they're clearing the protesters. Very well, they might spend the whole night clearing intersection to intersection, but if there's no transportation solution for people to go home, the people can't leave downtown. Even if you get 1,000 people at the bus stop on 4th. And speaking to an officer previously, what he said is, that part might not have been thought through, but people need a way to be able to go home. You can't even get an Uber. Maybe if they said that 4th might be open, but they can't get an Uber down here. So again, the Seattle Police and the National Guard have now given an order to disperse, where it's got about 7 minutes left in that order. We've seen the crowd thin out, but again, there's no public transport right now. So they're going to face an issue tonight of, although they might clear this intersection here, 5th and Pine, we might face an issue of how people are actually going to get out of downtown.
I respect that if you do. You want to go? But we can also come back tomorrow. Fight or go?
We've got about 6 minutes here. You see, everybody's already in the gas mask. I don't know if they're going to give the courtesy of the flashbang or the move back. They've already got the gas mask on out here for the tear gas and everything else. We've got about 5 minutes into this. You asking people to fall back? What's the move? Right. They're definitely going to move forward.
I recommend that people disperse. That said, these people all came here for one message.
So, but are these your people? Or is this, are you just trying to give a good message to the people who are here?
Trying to give a good message.
Okay. All right. So, all you can do is tell them to disperse. And, and you're leaving?
I'm not sure. I haven't made that decision yet. It might be forced on me.
All right. Well, like I said, the bigger issue here is there's no transportation solution down here. There's no buses that are running. There's no link light rail that's running. And most Ubers and Lyfts are staying away from downtown. When the police clear this intersection here, and even if they push these people to 4th, then they're going to have to push them off 4th, because there's not a transit solution to be able to get people home. So only people who can get home is maybe if you live downtown or live in the neighborhood. If there is a transit solution, we have not heard that from the Seattle Police as of yet. If they have a solution around transit and getting people back home, they might want to make people aware of that. But right now, all they're going to do is push people now from one block to another block. It's just going to go from one block to another block, maybe all night long, until people can actually get on a bus or get on a train or get in an Uber and go home. So we'll see how this exercise turns out here. But, I can basically tell you, and now they're coming in and they're flanking another side here. So, and they're coming forward. I think a lot of the protesters now see that they're definitely surrounded, for lack of a better word now. They've given a warning for everybody to clear the area. We've got about 4 minutes into that warning, or 4 minutes left into that warning. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, it's getting funky now. So, as Seattle, the tactics have yet to be explained, but basically, Seattle police told all the protesters, or let all the protesters come back downtown, and now they're telling the protesters to leave downtown, but there's no public transport. There's no buses running, there's no train running, and Ubers and all that are not coming downtown. So, I mean, I don't know what the end game is at SPD. We talked to a sergeant over there, and he said that, man, he felt that it wasn't thought through. And right now, it looks like it was not thought through, 100%, because they've stopped the buses and the trains, but they're wanting people to go home. This is a problem. This is a serious problem here. When I talked to the sergeant, I was like, yo, you guys need to get on the phone with King County Metro. You know what I'm saying? They weren't too receptive to that. So it looks like they might have opened some of 3rd Avenue back to traffic, so they might have some buses there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's funky. So now you got people back in Westlake. Man, this is just a shit show. Why SPD let protesters back down here? I mean, and they actually, you know, you guys saw on the previous stream, only they know best, but you would think in that planning, they'd also have some kind of situation going there for pickup. But let's see what the traffic's looking like. So, did they give a warning over here too?
Yo, we gotta reunite. I don't think they're gonna start arresting.
How many minutes are you into this warning? So now, I'm assuming a warning has been given from over here on this side as well. You see the officers have their flashlights on their helmets and everything else. You got a line of protesters right here. This is Westlake Park behind us. Back down there, that is 5th and Pine. And that was the flashpoint of where we saw basically everything pop off yesterday. So you got the Army and the National Guard there. You've got SPD against Westlake Mall. You've got the Seattle police now who have taken an oval-shaped position right here. And you have a group of protesters who, I mean, there it is. I mean, you guys sound very committed in your cause.
Yeah, they arrest me, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, and I know she has a mask on, but what she said is, if they arrest me, they arrest me. That's what I'm here for. All right. Now, you know, have you guys been gassed by these guys yet? Have you gotten the tear gas yet? All right, well, I'll just let you know that now the flashbang is a flashbang. And you get some smoke. When the tear gas comes, though, tear gas gets a little funky. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you said that you're committed and ready to go to jail and everything else. As a big brother over here, I want to tell you that, you know what I'm saying, the tear gas gets funky. The flashbang is just that. It's a loud sound and bang and some smoke and everything else. But it's used to disorient, and then comes the tear gas. I'm glad that you're out here. You're voicing your concerns. You're very committed, but I just want to tell you to please be safe. How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. And you? 18. My son is 18. He was out here with me the last few nights. And tonight was the night I even told him to stay home. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the National Guard out here. Young ladies, please be safe, okay? You know what I'm saying? Don't make it a goal to go to jail. Make it a goal to go home safe, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Yup. So, man, when I think I'm seeing it all out here, man, I see something else. You know, I mean, you saw right there, an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old, young white girls, you know. I mean, they said that they're ready to go to jail tonight. And, you know, and I mean, what I wanted to kind of let them know is that there are some things that are worse than jail, and some things that are worse than jail is when it gets funky down here. You fall down and you break a leg, or somebody's trying to get away and you go through a window and your arm gets cut up and everything else. So, you know what I'm saying? There are things that are worse than actually going to jail. I mean, shit, a flashbang, a shrapnel can hit you in the eye. You could have an allergic reaction to the tear gas and all those kind of things. So, you know what I'm saying? definitely wanted to tell those young ladies, man, that, to be careful out here. You know what I'm saying? And the cause of going to jail today, you know, isn't very much worth the cause of being, you know, injured or anything like that. But we've been seeing something like this now for the last 3 days. It's another standoff with the police back down there in Westlake, and it's occurring now on several different blocks down on 5th and Pine. We're right here. This is 4th and Pine. And for people just joining in the stream, something that's interesting here, right, is that Seattle police let the protesters back downtown to Westlake, and, you know, it was great and everything. Then they told the protesters, okay, it's time to go home. And a lot of people were like, okay, cool, time to go home. But we're looking to see if bus service has been normalized or train. The train service, usually the train would be running. It's 10 o'clock, but usually the train would be running, but there's no link light rail service that's going on right now. There's limited bus service in the downtown. And believe me, man, Ubers ain't coming down here right now. Oh, Ubers and Lyfts ain't coming. So that's created a situation right here where you have the police who are enforcing a curfew, and you have a lot of protesters here who just don't have a way home. Because, you know, I mean, a transport solution wasn't really thought about, well, I think, when they let people back into downtown. We got a standoff going here. 10 minutes has passed down there on 5th and Pine. They said it was 10 minutes to clear the area. The area has not been totally cleared down there, but maybe cleared enough. This SPD has not marched yet towards the intersection. Now, Westlake Park, everybody's down here in Westlake Park as well. And you got people kind of hanging around the park. The helicopter is up. And yeah. The police presence down here is heavy, y'all. And the thing is this, like I said, they let the protesters back downtown, but then they cut off public transport. Now they're trying to tell the protesters to leave. A lot of protesters, just to be fair, some people don't want to leave and they want to do and protest and, you know, fight maybe and everything else. But a lot of people are like, yeah, I just want to go home. And, you know, they might not necessarily have an option for that. And so now, at one point where they had a lot of people in one place, you've got people scattered again throughout downtown. And, you know, for people who want to remain peaceful, then that's a good thing. But, you know, they've also scattered the people who might have came here to be less than peaceful. So again, just to kind of set the scene right here, we're on 4th and Pine in downtown Seattle. A lot of people, if you know Seattle, that's Westlake Center right there. And that's Nordstrom's. That's the Nordstrom's headquarters. Nordstrom started here in Seattle. So that's the headquarters and the main office right there, right? And basically, like I said, what's happening is SPD let the protesters back to Westlake Park, which was a flashpoint yesterday, this very street, actually on 5th, one block behind us. And now they're enforcing the curfew. The mayor has a curfew, put a curfew in, and they're coming here to enforce it. So currently we see a standoff between protesters and police. And now we've got somebody who's trying to route people this way. Bro, how you gonna get back to Everett, man?
I don't know yet.
You said,
you know everything.
And now you ain't even barking no more. Is all your bark gone? It's late night.
Nah, my voice is gone.
Man,
I've been out here trying to sleep.
But you like a protest leader. You can't be losing your voice, man.
It's not lost. The voice is for everybody.
You gotta be drinking your tea.
Once I stop, everybody else start talking, and that's how it's supposed to be. We all got voice. Even the man behind the camera right now got a voice.
Voice is here.
The older people will be heard, and that's why all of us is here tonight. I can't keep talking, but a lot of people will keep talking.
Let me ask you this though, bro.
Definitely.
Do you think it's gonna get funky tonight?
Yes, it's definitely gonna get funky tonight because all you see right here is people that says We're not leaving. If you touch us, we fight back because it's against the law. This is our city.
So
why do they kick us out? Why do they tell us to leave?
Let me ask you this. Is that I just talked to two girls. One's 18, one's 19. And they said, man, that they're ready to go to jail today and everything else. But let me tell you as well. I said, have you ever see the flashbang? They said no. I said, have you ever been gassed with the tear gas? They said no. You ever been pepper sprayed? No. So it's also some people that are out here, bros, that don't know. They don't know how this goes down, bro. They don't know how this goes down.
Yes, this is a learning experience for them.
So
everyone is going to learn tonight.
So
what it means to protest, what it means to stand up for what you think is right.
So so what you're saying is like, man, on the job training. They very well might get gassed tonight, get the flashbang, the shrapnel, very well might go to jail. What's the end result then for tonight? Are you wanting everybody to get home safely and everything else?
I came here with the intentions to get arrested, my G. I came here with the intentions to die for what I think is right, because that's what I've been fighting for. That's what my dad in the past has been fighting for. His father been fighting for. His father's father's been fighting for. You feel me? They died for this. So what makes it different if I die for it? You know what I mean? 1,000 others will stand in my place for the same reason. 1,000 others, everybody that came out here came with the same intentions. They're tired. They don't want it no more.
Right.
It's Black Lives, but it's no longer only Black Lives. It's the whole community. It's everybody. Black Lives Matter, yes, but this is not only Black people crowd. All the lives matter. All the lives, all the races are tired because they're being provoked, taken advantage of, telling what to do, when to do it by authorities. This is a problem with authorities and rich motherfuckers. People that own that building over there. Billionaires. Billionaires.
You're talking about the Nordstroms and Sephora and all of that, huh?
Billionaires.
Okay.
If we destroy that, it's going to get rebuilt tomorrow.
And they've already, Nordstrom's, they've cleaned it up and everything was clean, actually.
Died, where is he? The man that died, all the people in that fall, the names right there, where are they? They're gone.
So,
no more vandalism.
Let me ask you this then. So right now, pulling it right back here to this moment, the police are issuing an order for people to leave the area. Now we've seen over the last few days of me, myself covering this, is they ain't got no problem letting it get funky. Like I said, with everything else. Now, are you going to encourage people here to like, hey, let's keep it pushing and stay away from this funkiness? Or are you telling people to stand here?
I'm telling people, once they try to tell you to move, you move. You know what I mean? To a location where all the people is.
Right.
But if they try to tell you to stop and still you can't. Because they're going to box you in, and that's when you lose. That's when they win. But we have to march. This is a march. If we stop, we're giving them the power.
Okay, Jose.
Right now, everybody is confused. So they want to be heard. Everybody want to be heard right now. That's why we're all here together. But I know when they hear the bangs go off, they will know what to do, and that's all I expect is for people to know what to do.
Well, when the bang, like I said, we got a lot of newbies out here. When the bangs go off, we'll see what happens. All right, we'll let you gather yourself. You heard him. He said no more questions. So again, we're setting the scene right here. We've got another standoff of so many that we've seen here. And I'll be honest with you, man. Since Friday to today, and Friday I was with, this hardcore group. I was with them for like 45 minutes, an hour, from 5th and Jackson all the way to 7th and Pine. And so from that group, Friday, to some of the people that we saw literally tearing it up. All right, Chief, I'm good. Let's get it out of here peacefully, man. I know that's the intention. Talking to the police here. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I was just telling here on this live feed of all the people, the protesters I've seen Friday and then yesterday. Yesterday, it was a real funky group. These guys right here kind of look, it doesn't look like that big of a threat. So you gotta go talk to your guy over here and try to figure something out. So, yeah. I mean, I think that this is a real, But hey, the issue is this, though. What's up with public transport? We need to hear about public transport, man.
Sergeant.
Nah, he's not a sergeant. He got a gold badge on.
Is another one of them?
Yeah. Nah, but hey, is there any word on the public transport? Are they gonna activate the train? Are there any buses? Are they gonna allow Uber to come downtown, sir? I mean, that's a lot of people. That's their issue, is they can't get out of downtown. I mean, I don't think anybody thought it all the way through, bringing people down here. They can't. What's up, man? I'm on the live, so I'm looking kind of right back at you, but what's up? All right, so, well, basically, this is day 3, and I'll be honest with you, the first 2 nights, you know, the professional anarchists, man, they stayed a few steps ahead of SPD. You know, I was down there in the International District and really witnessed them kick in Bank of America and all that kind of stuff. Day number 1 went to the professional anarchists. Day number 2, clearly, we were all right here. We watched it go to the professional anarchists that were here, 100%. Day number 3 now, you know, this was very interesting because everybody was out of downtown. Seattle police brought everybody back downtown, or allowed them to come back downtown, and now they're kicking people out of downtown. But, you know, one of the issues here, and I think people should go home, you know what I'm saying? And as a member of the media here, you know, if there's a curfew in place, then people need to respect the curfew, you know what I'm saying, and everything else. But the issue is transportation, public transportation. What we're missing right now is public transportation. You know, the train is down and everything else. And I think that it would be helpful if the SPD just over the speaker, man. I don't know if they can call King County Metro, get some buses going, this and that. Uber, if you try to get an Uber on some of the apps, it says they're not coming because it's a state of emergency down here. So you can't get picked up. So if they want people to leave, it's one thing to leave an intersection. But if you want people to leave downtown and go home, we got to be able to transport them out of downtown. That's the latest thing I can say is this. On the flip side is that the protest I was with today, this is about now my 5th, 6th hour into it. It's been 100% peaceful protest. And on the flip side, on the SPD, we were up there at the East Precinct, came out there, communicated very well with the protesters. We were there on Bourne and Madison. Seattle police came out and communicated very well with the protesters. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I just try to call it as I see it. And so far today really couldn't have gone any better, really, for the police, or at least the group of protesters I've been in. The issue we face right here, man, is how do we get people home? You see what I'm saying? That's fundamentally, I think, what the problem is right here. Because once they clear these guys from this intersection, which will happen, where are they going to go? You see what I'm saying? That's fundamentally the problem. Or else they're going to play cat and mouse the whole night, pushing people out of downtown. You good?
Answer all the questions. You know what you're doing.
All right.
I appreciate you, man.
No problem. Whew. So yeah, so that's where it's at. Now, these guys have built a larger barrier now between the police and the protesters. And it looks like, I know it's gonna be hard to see from this iPhone. I need to go ahead and upgrade. We got a lot of people running far down there. But so there's protesters on the other side of that intersection down there. They're on the other side of 5th and Pine. And it looks like they're moving. They're moving in big numbers. They're moving eastbound on Pine Street. It looks like they've moved the barricade. So what's occurred, and it looks like we might have a great peaceful end here tonight, because what's happened is they've now opened the streets. They've opened the street for people to leave in an easterly direction. SPD has kept their posture over here.